All right, so you need your reader's notebook and a pencil for sure today. If you've got Post-it notes, those are also great. I know that I saw Ania yesterday when she submitted her assignment. She had written her facts down on Post-it notes. She kind of showed those on her little video when she submitted. So if you like using the Post-its, that's fine too. But if not that, you need at least your notebook or Post-it notes, something to write with. We're looking at text features today. So we're going to be talking about two different things when it comes to text features. What are they and why are they important? Does anybody have, I don't want an example, but just anybody can share with us what are text features in general? What are text features when we look at nonfiction books? Ania?
Text features are like details like from the text, and like the characters' features, like how they act or like their actions.
So you were describing features of characters in a fiction text, which is accurate. Well, text features are something a little bit different though when we're talking about nonfiction. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Thank you for being a risk taker and trying. And you're correct about if we were reading a fiction story about features of a character. We're talking about text features and nonfiction. So text features and nonfiction are like extra things that the author puts in to help you understand the main text. So they're maybe not exactly what's in the main part. They could be pictures or diagrams or captions or charts, things like that. But they're little extra features that the author includes to help you with the text. And they're important because the author puts them in there for very specific reasons to help you get a better overall understanding of what it is you're reading. So if they're talking about, for example, black widow spiders, and they may include a picture of a black widow spider to help you understand what that spider looks like that you're reading about, right? They can describe it and talk about it in the text all they want, but that picture is going to help you learn from the text as well. And so we're going to go through what some of those different text features are and talk about why authors might include them within a text. Michael, can you read our goal for today, please?
To teach you all about text features and why they are important to nonfiction text.
So we're going to have to look at a lot of different types of text features today and think about why they're important when it comes to nonfiction reading. We're going to pay very close attention to that. Why are they important part? How do they help us part throughout the lesson today? So there's a few different things text features can do. Jay, can you read this first one right here?
Show us information.
Yep, so that may be like a diagram or a picture or an illustration or a photograph. So they actually show us. CJ, can you read the next one underneath that one?
Tell us information.
Yeah, when we say tell us information, it may mean that there's extra text or there's more typed words, just not a part of the main text that help teach us more information. Cynthia, can you read this one right here?
Help us find information.
Yeah, so things like table of contents or an index might help us find information within the text. And Alex J, can you read the last one?
Be used to organize information.
Thank you, sir. So you usually don't have just one text feature in a text. You have a combination of all these different ones, and they do all these things together to help make the text work and be more fluent and easy to understand for the person who's reading. Can you think of any different examples of text features that you may have seen in books before? I'm going to kind of just type out a list here. And you don't have to raise your hand. You can just kind of unmute yourself and say, what are some text features you've seen in books before? I've kind of mentioned a few.
When I was reading Rosa Parks, I saw this diagram of a school bus and where she was sitting.
Okay, so diagram, very good, thank you. So diagrams is one. Think of any other ones?
Table of contents.
Table of contents, good. What else? You said you don't have to raise your hand, you can just unmute and share.
Pictures.
Pictures, and I'm going to put photograph. There's two types of pictures, right? There's photographs, which is an actual picture that's taken, And there's illustrations, and illustrations are drawings. But those are both good. Yep. Anything else? You guys ever seen the little thing that goes under a picture that gives you more information about the picture? Do you know what those are called? What are those called? Like you put them under your picture on Instagram, maybe? Or those of you have a TikTok, you have a little thing.
Titles.
Well, you might, yeah, a title, yes. You might also have what we call a caption, right? Which
Yeah.
goes underneath the picture to give you a little bit more information. So those are just some examples that we've looked at and you've probably seen before. We're going to actually look now a little bit more specifically at what some of them are and what they do. So the first one is the title, right? And the title goes on the front of the book usually, or if it's like an essay or paper at the very top. And it just gives you an idea of what the text is going to be about, right? Especially in nonfiction, excuse me, guys. Especially in nonfiction, that title is going to give you a clear idea of what I'm about to read. Table of contents. Clay, can you read what that one does?
Tells them the topics that are in the book and what page you can find them.
Thank you. So yeah, we looked at that yesterday when we were looking at the chemical reactions book, right? When you open, that's usually right on the inside. And it says like, here's what's in the book and here's where you can find it. A heading. Corbin, can you read what a heading does? Maybe not. Eric, can you read what a heading does?
I don't know.
Right here. It's right here. The name of a section. Can you just read it?
The name of the section headings give us a clue of what you will be
Reading. Yeah.
reading.
Yeah. So like this says cute calf. So that gives you a clue of like what section that section in the book's going to be about. Yesterday when we read the chemical reactions book, they had like a different list or a different heading for different sections. Photographs. Denise, can you read what that says?
Real pictures taken by a camera that help us better understand the topic.
Thank you. Yep. It's important to remember that photographs are real pictures that are taken. So that different than an illustration. Captions. Let's see. Cynthia, can you read the part for caption?
Small text near a picture that tells information.
Very good. So it's a small little section of text that's close to the picture, and it tells you more information either about that picture or sometimes it just gives like an extra little fact that kind of goes with the picture. It kind of depends on how the author decides to use it. Labels. Guadalupe, can you read what labels do?
Words that tell about a specific part of a picture or diagram.
Thank you. So a diagram would be an example over here, right? And labels identify the different parts on the diagram. So right here you see like a book and it's showing like this is the book title, this is the author's name, this is who the illustrator is, this is the front cover, the spine, and the back cover on the book. So labels are those little things that go with the diagram, right? Bold print. CJ, can you read that one?
Words that are bolder, dark, are very important to the topic.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a different color, sometimes it can be italicized, but those that usually indicates that that word is pretty important to what they're saying and what they're discussing in that page. Corbin, can you hear me? Corbin, can you read the part right here that goes with diagram? What's a diagram? We can't hear Corbin. Corbin, we can't hear you, so I'll read it. It's a labeled picture that shows the parts of something. So, like, if you have like this one shows all the different like life stages of a butterfly, and it's got each of those life stages labeled. So if there's no labels, it's not a diagram. A diagram has to have a label. Charts. Jay, can you read that section?
Charts show us a lot of information in a small space.
Yeah, so a chart could include a graph or like a little chart right here where it shows the information that all goes with each thing. Just depends on how the author wants to use it. And Asil, can you read index? What does an index do? Right now, a list of important topics. Maybe, maybe not. Eric, can you read that one too then for us? What's an index? Thank you.
Me.
Go for it, Derek.
Okay. A list of important topics and the text with page numbers.
Yeah, so usually an index is in the very back of the book, you guys. And if you go to the back of the book and like, let's say you're reading a book about presidents and you want to look up Abraham Lincoln, you can turn to the back of the book and look up Abraham Lincoln. It's usually in alphabetical order. And it'll say what pages in the book you can go to read about Abraham Lincoln. So that's what an index does. So let's look at an example of a page right here. We see a page that has, for my chemical reaction book, and we can see some of the different text features that are used. Does anybody notice what are some of the text features on this page that we see? I'm just going to type a list out to the side. Anybody notice any of the text features over out there to the side? Clay.
I can see some charts, and I can see some. I lost my words.
So this over here it's got labeled a covalent bond and labeled it as water. So if it's got labels and shows a picture of it, does anybody remember what that's called? Ania?
Diagram.
Yep, so we've got a diagram, right, of a covalent bond. So that's right there. We have a diagram. What else do we have on that page? Anybody else notice? We've got these little words that go above a diagram and out to the side of a picture. Do you remember what those are called? The extra information by a picture or diagram.
You say a caption.
Caption, thank you, sir. So we have a caption on there. What's in the background? Huh? Cynthia. A photograph, very good. And then the last thing I see that might be kind of hard, it's not actually around it, but it's right here up in the words. Does anybody see what we see up there? It's not in the, it's not around it, but it's actually in the text. Does anybody notice what the author did with one of the words?
The red on
Okay.
the
He made one word bold.
Yeah, so now we also have bold words, right? So let's talk about why the author put those text features in there. So I'm going to read the actual page to you, and then we're going to talk about why they might have put those in there. It says, we have to cook an egg to cause a chemical reaction. The same is true for cookies. In other words, we have to apply heat. Without heat, we would still have raw egg and raw cookie dough. Heat doesn't have to be there for every chemical reaction to start, but some kind of energy needs to get things going. Heat, light, and electricity can all kickstart chemical reactions. We refer to this as activation energy. Activation energy starts electrons hopping, but electrons hold the atoms of the molecules together, and they can't do that if they're moving to different atoms. So freeing the electron means breaking the bonds between atoms. Doing so allows the electrons to form new bonds, and new bonds result in a new compound. Thus, activation energy enables a new product to form. Sometimes when atoms bind together, the bonds are very weak. For these bonds, not much energy is needed. The electrons start moving with a little help. For strong bonds, though, it will take a lot more activation energy to get things going. So we've talked about bonds right here, right? So now our author wants us to understand more about bonds. So he shows an ionic bond down here. And it says atoms with only one electron in their outer layer are unstable. Unstable atoms trade electrons with each other to become stable. This is an ionic bond. And then over here, covalent bonds, it says atoms can also bond by overlapping their outer shells. Then they share electrons rather than trade them. This is called a covalent bond. So that goes with the main text, right? So to teach us a little bit more about those bonds, they have a little side note over here in the captions, and then they have diagrams to show us what each of those kinds of bonds looks like, right? So why were they important? They help us understand. So that question's down here. I'm going to put the text features help. Sorry, I'm going to move it up here. Help the reader understand more about the bonds mentioned in the main text, right? And then you could also put too that activation energy shows us, they show us that the word activation energy is an important word, right? So that's just examples of text features from this one page. So we want to see what you can do with text features, and you're going to have your own job today is you're going to look at this page below, and I'll pull it up on Canvas too. And you're going to tell us what are the text features in this page and why do you think that they are important. So I'm going to go, let's see, open my Canvas page. You're going to go to Wednesday, and you're going to go to reading. Nonfiction text features. By the way, we will do more on text features today, so we know this might not be perfect. Here's a blown up, it's a bigger version that you can see a little bit easier. So it says, describe in detail the text features you see on the page below. So you might see, I can say here somewhere in yellow, there's one right here. Remember these things right here are called headings. And then you're going to talk about what other things you see that are text features and why you think the author would include those. All right. I do not want to see 3 words as your answer, y'all. I don't want to see, there's a picture. Okay, well, why did the author include it? And what is the picture of? Be more specific, okay? So what are the text features you see and why are they important? We're not going to meet in small group today. This is your only job from now until math. So you have an hour. So what I would like you to do is try to get this done first and then spend some time either on Lexia or reading your book, okay? This should be more than 10, 20 for math. This should be more than 1 word. Y'all got it? All right?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you're answering both questions. Does anybody, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions before I send you off to work? Okay, in just a minute, I'm going to upload. Go ahead, ask your question, Ania.
So when we're doing that, do we, like when we're saying like, I see a picture, do we write why that's important, then go on to the next thing we see and then write why that's important?
I think that would be a good idea. So what Ania is saying is, should you say, like I noticed that there's a picture and then say, I think the picture is important because. I think that'd be a great way of doing it. Yes, I think that's a good question. So I'm going to let y'all go. In just a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead after the meeting's over and try to upload the video of the lesson. So if you need to go back and rewatch what some of the different text features are, you have that available for you to watch. All right. I will see everyone in math at 10:20.
Bye. Wait, before I go, am I going to Miss Winnie?
Yes.
9:40.
Yes. If you meet with Miss Sweeney or Miss Fleischer, you still need to go to those groups. Make sure you go to Miss Sweeney, Miss Fleischer if those are your small group teachers.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.